In the quiet, windswept marshlands of Long Island, New York, there's a stretch of beach that hides a grim secret. Gilgo Beach, serene on the surface, but beneath the sand lies a mystery that haunted America for more than a decade, a chilling story of missing women, silent killers, and a man who lived among us, completely unnoticed. This is the story of the Gilgo Beach serial killer, a case that began with a 911 call and ended, perhaps, with handcuffs on a suburban father of two. It was just before dawn on May 1st, 2010, when a 24-year-old woman named Shannan Gilbert made a frantic 911 call. "They're trying to kill me," she screamed, her voice trembling with panic. She was in Oak Beach, a gated community near Gilgo Beach. For the next 23 minutes, she ran through unfamiliar yards, knocking on doors, desperate for help. And then she vanished. Police didn't take it seriously. Shannan, after all, was an escort. To them, she was just another missing sex worker. But her disappearance would set off a chain of events that would uncover something far more sinister. 7 months later, in December 2010, during a routine canine training exercise along Ocean Parkway, a police officer's dog named Blue stumbled upon a decaying body wrapped in burlap. It was a woman. Within days, 3 more bodies were found in the same manner, all wrapped in burlap, all women, all escorts, all petite and similar in appearance. It was clear they were dealing with a serial killer. But that was just the beginning. As the investigation continued, more remains were discovered, partial skeletons, dismembered bodies, even a toddler. In total, 11 victims were recovered between 2010 and 2011. Some had been there for years, and the killer? Still out there. The Suffolk County Police, already under fire for mishandling Shannan Gilbert's case, found themselves unprepared for the national spotlight. Media outlets dubbed the unknown suspect the Long Island serial killer, or LISK. But inside Oak Beach and Massapequa Park, people were whispering names. One of them was Dr. Peter Hackett, a local physician who called Shannan's mother 2 days after her disappearance. He claimed he had seen Shannan, that she had been at his home, and that he ran a home for wayward girls. But when questioned by police, he denied ever meeting her. Suspicious? Definitely. But evidence? Lacking. Then came another scandal. James Burke, the Suffolk County police chief at the time, was accused of blocking FBI involvement. Later, he would be convicted on unrelated charges. Many now believe his interference stalled the case for years. Meanwhile, the internet exploded. Reddit forums, podcasts, and YouTube videos all speculated on who the killer could be. Some believed it was one person. Others believed multiple killers used the same dumping grounds. The public was obsessed. But the case stalled. In 2020, a new police commissioner, Rodney Harrison, took over. He prioritized the case and formed a new task force. They went back to square one, reviewing burner phone records, retesting DNA, mapping cell tower pings. Technology had come a long way since 2010. Then in July 2023, everything changed. Rex Huerman, a 59-year-old architect from Massapequa Park, was arrested. To his neighbors, he was quiet. A bit odd, maybe, but harmless. He lived just minutes from Gilgo Beach with his wife and kids. Behind closed doors, though, Huerman was a monster. Police had tracked burner phone records to his movements. They matched DNA found on a discarded pizza crust to a hair on one of the burlap-wrapped victims. He was charged with the murders of Melissa Barthélemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, 3 of the Gilgo 4. Inside his home, they found a locked vault. Inside, dozens of burner phones, chilling Google searches about torture, rape, and serial killers. His browser history alone was enough to give nightmares. The arrest shocked Long Island. For over a decade, the community had lived in fear, and the monster had been right there among them. A man who worked in Manhattan, rode the train, played father, and then hunted women at night. But despite the relief, the story is far from over. Huerman has pleaded not guilty. His defense claims the evidence is circumstantial. Trials are ongoing, and many questions remain unanswered. What about the other victims? The toddler? The man in women's clothing? The dismembered remains scattered across multiple counties? And Shannan Gilbert? Police still insist she drowned, but her autopsy revealed damage to her hyoid bone, a potential sign of strangulation. Her mother, Mary Gilbert, fought for years to get justice for her daughter. Tragically, Mari was killed in 2016 by another of her daughters suffering from mental illness. Another thread of tragedy in a web of horror. There are still whispers of more involvement, of accomplices, of cover-ups, of more killers. Some believe the dumping grounds were used by more than one predator. Others think corruption at the highest levels of Suffolk County Police delayed justice. In true crime, resolution rarely brings peace. The Gilgo Beach murders serve as a dark mirror for our society. How many lives could have been saved if the first victims had been taken seriously? If sex workers were given the same urgency, the same humanity? If Shannon Gilbert's voice had been heard sooner? The mask is off, but the shadows remain. This is the story of the Gilgo Beach serial killer, a man who lived among us and the women the world tried to forget. In the quiet wilderness of Washington state, a father and his 3 young daughters disappear without a trace. No final goodbye. No distress call. Just a single haunting clue left behind. A blood-stained campsite tucked deep inside Olympic National Forest. Harper, Ella, Olivia, ages 9, 7, and 4. Bright, joyful, full of life. Their dad, Brett Decker, was supposed to take them on a weekend camping trip. They never came home. When authorities finally found their site, they were expecting tents, maybe food wrappers, a fire pit. Instead, they found silence. And then, horror. This isn't a cold case from the 1980s. This happened in 2025. Right here, in our time, in our country. And to this day, no one knows exactly what happened in those woods. But tonight, we're going to follow the trail, from the final selfie sent to the last footprints found. This is the chilling, unsolved story of the Decker children killings. A mystery buried in pine needles and shadow. And fair warning, what you're about to hear is disturbing. Let's begin. Before we get to what happened in the woods, we need to talk about the man who led his daughters into them, Brett Decker. To most people in his small town, Brett was just another dad. He worked quietly, kept to himself, and loved being outdoors. Not exactly the kind of guy that raises red flags. But behind closed doors, Brett was struggling. He grew up in Spokane, Washington. Middle child, no criminal record. Teachers said he was shy, maybe a little too quiet, but smart. He went on to work a series of odd jobs: park ranger's assistant, delivery driver, part-time mechanic. Nothing permanent, nothing flashy. In his early 30s, he met Claire Simmons, a school teacher. They married within a year and had 3 daughters. Harper, the oldest, then Ella, then Olivia. For a while, everything looked picture perfect. Family hikes on the weekends, homemade dinners, social media posts full of smiles. But something shifted in Brett. Friends said he became more withdrawn after his second daughter was born. He stopped showing up to group barbecues. He quit his job without explanation. He told one coworker, "I think the world's getting too loud. I just want out." In 2023, Claire filed for divorce. According to court records, the split was messy. Claire claimed Brett was emotionally unstable. He'd sometimes disappear for hours during the night. Said he heard things in the trees outside their home. He insisted the girls weren't safe, even though there was no sign of actual danger. Despite this, Brett fought for custody and won shared time. He was granted weekends and some holidays. The judge ruled that while he showed signs of anxiety and mild paranoia, there was no active risk of harm. It's a ruling that now feels painfully haunting, because 2 years later, that mild paranoia would spiral into something else entirely. The last time Claire saw her girls, they were running to their father's car, excited for another camping trip. She kissed them goodbye at the curb, didn't know it would be the last time. The car pulled away. And just like that, the countdown began. Before we dive deeper into what went wrong, it's important to talk about who was lost. These weren't just names in a headline. They were little girls, full of life, full of light. Harper Decker, age 9, the oldest sister, the responsible one. She loved science experiments, had a notebook full of inventions, and wanted to be an astronaut. Her favorite planet? Saturn. She said the rings made it look magical. Ella, age 7, the artist. She drew on everything: napkins, walls, even her own arms when she ran out of paper. Her mom used to joke she'd end up designing Disney movies someday. She loved animals and cried if anyone even squashed a bug in front of her. And Olivia, just 4 years old. She was the baby, always holding someone's hand, always singing. Her favorite song was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but she'd replace the lyrics with silly made-up words and laugh until she hiccuped. These girls weren't just sweet. They were deeply loved. Claire, their mom, called them my 3 sons. She said each one brought a different kind of warmth into the house. Neighbors often saw them in the yard, chasing bubbles, making sidewalk chalk cities, or playing with their golden retriever, Scout. They were happy. Even after the divorce, Claire worked hard to keep their world whole. Therapy, school routines, safe boundaries with Brett. She never thought for 1 second that the very person meant to protect them would lead them into the dark and never return. And the worst part? Claire trusted that weekend would be just like the others. Brett had taken them camping before. He'd always brought them back. But this time was different. Because that weekend, Brett didn't just pack snacks and sleeping bags. He packed something else. And whatever it was, it would change everything. The Decker girls were last seen alive on a Friday morning, March 21st, 2025. They were excited. Harper even told a neighbor they were going to sleep under a sky full of stars. They'd packed trail mix, marshmallows, board games, and Olivia carried her favorite stuffed bear, named Button. Brett Decker picked them up right on time. A silver 2008 Subaru Outback loaded with supplies. Tent, cooler, firewood, the usual. He told Claire they'd be camping near Lake Quinault, inside Olympic National Forest. Just a short weekend. Back Sunday night. Claire waved them off from the driveway. That was the last time she ever saw her daughters. But here's where things start to unravel. There's no security footage showing Brett's car near Lake Quinault, no gas station transactions, no cell pings. It's like he vanished into the trees. 3 days passed. Sunday night came. No call, no car, no return. Claire tried not to panic. Maybe they lost reception. Maybe they stayed an extra night. She waited. But when Monday morning came and there was still nothing, she called 911. By Tuesday, March 25th, the search had begun. Dozens of rangers, deputies, dogs, drones, they combed the Olympic Peninsula, every trail, every creek, every overlook. And on day 4, a park ranger spotted something, far off trail, near a remote area called Stag Creek Hollow, 19 miles from where Brett claimed they'd be. A crumpled silver Subaru, abandoned, quiet. Inside, a lunchbox, 1 pink boot, no blood, no bodies, just stillness. Outside the vehicle, the forest was disturbed. Footprints, drag marks, a fire pit, hastily made. Then, 20 feet away, hidden under a fallen tree, they found a camping tarp, and on it were dark red stains. Tests later confirmed human blood from more than one person. That changed everything. This wasn't a case of lost hikers anymore. It was a crime scene. The campsite was primitive. No trail access, no nearby roads. Someone had deliberately taken the girls deep into the woods, somewhere they couldn't easily be found. They found signs of struggle, broken branches, small torn fabric pieces, and chillingly, Harper's invention journal, tossed into a stream, pages soaked and smeared. There were no signs of wildlife attack, no cliff drops, no drowning. This wasn't an accident. And Brett? He was gone. No trace, no signal. It was like the forest swallowed him whole. The only clue he left behind was in his journal, found buried beneath the passenger seat of the car. One scribbled line. What did he mean? What did he do? And where are the girls? As the investigation deepened, new pieces emerged. Brett's survivalist leanings, strange writings, secret map routes, and a neighbor who claimed they heard screaming from the woods that very weekend. But still, no bodies, no Brett, just questions, just heartbreak, and the creeping realization that they may never be found. The deeper investigators dug into Brett Decker's mind, the darker things got. Inside his home, they found dozens of notebooks, filled with bizarre ramblings, drawings of eyes in the sky, and apocalyptic warnings. One page read, "They won't grow up in this world. I won't let it take them." Another, "Cleanse them before it changes them, before it breaks them." What did he mean? A forensic psychologist who reviewed his journals said Brett displayed classic symptoms of protective psychosis. That's when a parent becomes convinced the only way to save their children is to destroy them. But that doesn't explain the most haunting part. Where are they? To this day, no bodies have been found. No confirmed sightings. Not even a signal from Brett's bank cards, phone, or digital trail. One theory? He died out there too, possibly by suicide, hidden somewhere deep in the forest. Another theory is darker. that he planned this for years, trained in survival, and disappeared off-grid. Some even think the girls may still be alive, hidden, brainwashed, raised in isolation. But there's no proof, just pain. Claire, their mother, now speaks to schools about child mental health and family court reform. She says she wakes up every morning hoping to find 3 faces in her dreams. She still sets out plates for her daughters on their birthdays, still leaves their backpacks untouched, still calls their names into the wind when she visits the last place they were seen. And every few months, a hiker, a hunter, a ranger calls in a tip. A sighting, a noise, a footprint. But nothing sticks, nothing brings them home. So what really happened to the Decker children? Did Brett believe he was saving them from the world? Or taking them out of it? Was it madness or murder? We may never know the full truth, but one thing is certain. 3 little girls went into the woods with their father, and none of them ever came back.